Hello, is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap. Testing 1 2 1 2. Hello, folks. Good evening. How are you all? It's Monday night again. You know what that means? It means it's time for another live stream. Full meeting tonight, so we've got the reprobates in as well as the members. Hello to you all. Hello to you all. Let's see who we've got. Robin's here. Good evening. Dave from Australia, you're in as well. Mike is here. Looking forward to another good chat. I'm sure it will be, Dave. Mike, I mean, not Dave. Richard's in here. Jade's in here. Jamie's in here. Excellent. There's 11 of you, apparently. It's a good start. It's a good start. We'll just give it a few moments before we get to proceeding, see how many more people join us. I'm expecting Vince to be in here tonight. You know, the guy who keeps talking about the mankini. Sent me a message earlier saying that he'd be in this week's meeting, so expect to see him at some point if he's not already in here, of course. So brilliant. How are we all then? Have we had a good week? Have we had a good week? It's been not been a bad week here, to be fair, apart from the rain. It's always raining at the moment. Hopefully I'm going to avoid that tomorrow because I checked the weather forecast and it seems okay. So I'm not going to get wet this week, which is a good thing. I did a little bit last week, but not excessively. I wasn't wringing wet through. It was more a case of just a bit of surface moisture, if you like. Dried out eventually. So it came sunny, actually, where I was last week. It was raining to start with, and then it sort of became sunnier and sunnier. So it wasn't too bad, to be fair. So, excellent. Right, we might as well get to it now. We've got a fair few people in here. We've got 17 now. So let's start, as we always do, with this week's filming locations and with the Guess Where I Am answer. So I'll give you the Guess Where I Am answer first, actually, because I know a few people got this. It was fairly easy, to be honest with you, if you know your historic buildings. The answer was Beverley Minster. Now, I was staying in Beverley last week, but I wasn't actually filming Beverley because that's going to be the last one in the Easter Riding. It was just the easiest place to go for a hotel last week because it weren't far away from Cottingham, which is where one of the places I was doing. I think it's 6 miles. And I thought, well, ideal place to do a Guess Where I Am because the hotel I was in, Minster Garth, was right next to Beverley Minster, like literally next door. And the funny story about that is that I don't know whether you guys know Beverley Minster, but I certainly discovered this, that during the night, the bells still chime. And so I didn't get a great night's sleep. Because every sort of hour or however often they chime, I could hear them. So it wasn't great. But at least you got something good out of it. You got your first shot of Beverley Minster. We will obviously be talking about that when we get to the episode itself, right at the very end of the Easter Riding series. But yeah, nice place, isn't it? It looks nice all lit up at night, doesn't it? So that was pretty cool. Okay, so this week's filming locations then. This week, I'm going to be hitting Lincolnshire again. It feels like a long time since I've been back to my home county. I can't remember the last time I was there, actually. I've done so much since. I'm going to be hitting 9 in total. I'm going to be doing 6 in East Lindsey and 3 in North Kesteven. The 6 in East Lindsey, you'll have got the feeling by now that East Lindsey is full of tiny little ones, and there's no exception with these. In fact, these 6 I'm doing out there are probably 6 of the smallest so far. So they're not going to take me very long at all. They are Langton by Rugby, Hatton, Great Sturton, Market Stainton, Ranby, and Sotby. And thinking about it, they kind of decrease in size. Langton by Rugby is definitely the biggest one of those 6, and I'm pretty sure Sotby is the smallest. So, you know, some interesting bits though. I've done a bit of research on these ones beforehand. Some surprising bits, shall we say, especially Market Stainton. I'll just throw that out there before I obviously go and film it. And then obviously North Stephen, I've got 3 I've planned to do. We're going to be hitting sort of the outskirts of Lincoln here. We're going to be going to Thorpe on the Hill, Witham St Hughes, and Swinderby. Lots of airfield history in those particular ones. Not so much Thorpe on the Hill, but definitely the other 2. So you'll see what I mean by that when we hit them too. They are much bigger than the East Lindsey lot. So that'll be the bulk of what I do this week. I'm quite excited about it because I haven't been to Thorpe on the Hill for years, and I know I quite like it. I wonder if it's changed. It might have changed a bit. We'll see. Witham St Hughes, I've actually got a family member that lives there. Won't see them though. And Swinderby, I've not been there for a long time. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this particular week, this particular run, as it were. So yeah, it's all going to be good. It's all going to be good. Good evening, Catwoman Jones. Hi, Andy, Nikki Girls, and Fluffy Butt. I assume you mean assume you mean Angel. Cat's hiding somewhere. I don't know where at the moment. So okay. Right. Next thing on the agenda is a little recap of what was said in the members meeting last week. Non-members won't know this, but members already do. There's going to be a bit of a shake-up behind the scenes. Nothing too serious, but the sort of effect of it, the biggest effect of it is it's going to change what day I go filming. At the minute, it's Tuesday and Wednesday. But as a result of this shake-up, it's going to be Friday and Saturday, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not, terribly different. But it's going to lead to a few things which are going to happen over the next couple of months, and it's going to come to a head kind of in October, because what's going to happen is in October the structure that you're used to, having East Lindsey on a Monday, having North Kesteven on a Tuesday, all the Derbyshire stuff on a Wednesday, etc. In October, that's going to go out the window. It's going to be termed Crazy October because everything is going to be all over the place. But it's kind of a necessity, and I think I'm actually quite excited about it because with it being all over the place, it's kind of like anything can happen, Crazy October, we're going to call it. So yeah, that's what's going on behind the scenes, and that's kind of the biggest effects of it. So yeah, when we hit October, that's when the changes will take place. But until that time, everything will be the same as you're currently used to. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If there are any other changes, I will let you know. I think everyone likes the current system that we have, but sometimes change is a necessity. And because of that, people can sort of get set in the ways, can't they? And get sort of complacent. Well, it's good to have a change. Change is as good as a rest, as they say. So, might give the channel a bit of a spruce up, if you know what I mean. So, okay, let's see. I'm just going to catch up with a couple of comments before we go any further. Dave says, sorry, I'm late. No, you're never late, Dave. You come in when you like. You're not late. Of course you're not. Thorpe, can't wait. I lived there. Brilliant. Excellent. Fantastic. I do like Thorpe on the Hill. It's a good little place. It involves the garden centre as well. You'll probably know Pennell's Garden Centre. It involves that too, so I should be driving around that. Let's see. Catwoman Jones says, love the yellow house with the red door in today's video. What, Kirby on Bain? It's a long time since I went there and filmed that one. You can probably tell by the date in the video, so I can't remember which particular house you're on about. I see that many houses and that many, things. But I take your word for it. There is a yellow house with a red door that looks nice. So Dave says, have you had any leads on whether you can get on radio or anything? Not yet, Dave, no. Although I am gonna put on the sort of promo every day now, that thing at the bottom that says also I'm looking for people to get me on the media or whatever. So hopefully something comes of that. we'll see. Let's see. Jay says, did you enjoy your 40th birthday on Thursday last week? I did. I did. I did. I've actually got, I think I showed this last week. I'm not totally sure. Hang on. There's my 40 balloon. There you go. I'm officially the big 4-0 now. It's all downhill from here. That's what Robin said. He actually sent me a message on my birthday saying it's all downhill from here. And I says, well, as long as it's like Garraby Hill. If you remember that from the Kirby Underdale episode. I don't mind that because the view's good from up there. So, yeah, if it is all downhill from here, I hope it's like that. Okay. Right, next thing to tell you about. I've been doing a bit of catching up with some channel-related stuff over the past couple of days. And one of the things I've done is I've now managed to get I'm going to call them modern thumbnails. I've now managed to get a modern thumbnail for every single video that is currently up. So every single episode that's out there has that modern thumbnail with the coloured strip across the top. You know, you're used to this with the circle in the corner and the district logo and all that stuff. I've updated all the old ones. So I've just finished doing the last batch, which was Rotherham and Doncaster. So, yeah, there are none of the old thumbnails left now at all, which is a bit of a it's taken me ages to do it. As you probably understand. I mean, all the new stuff, the thumbnails get made before I actually go. But anything sort of 2, maybe 3 years old still needed them updating. So I've managed to get now all the way through the lot. So everything looks a bit more uniform now. There's none of those older ones floating about, unless I've missed one somewhere, but I don't think I have. I think they've all got them now, which is a good thing. What I'm going to try and do in the future, I've not worked this out yet, I don't know how I'm going to do it, is somehow incorporate the thumbnail that you see into the actual video. And it's more complicated than it sounds because those thumbnails are all made using the same editor, but all I do is then take a screenshot of it and then crop it down so you can't see all the other gubbins in the editor. It's not that easy to get that stuff from that template, from the thumbnail template, into a different editor
format.
No, not format, and into a different editor file. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not simple to do it, so I haven't worked out how to do it yet, but I will. It's something I'm looking to sort out, but it's not of any urgency, so it may not even happen this year. I don't know, but eventually, I think that's what I want to try and do. Just makes a bit more sense to have it actually in the video. So, so that's that. Let's have a look at some more comments. Wait till I'm nearly 50. Are you aging me already? Or in your 70s or 80s? Blimey. Hey, when I hit my 70s and 80s, I should be done with this, hopefully. So that'd be cool. And I can just pick a village to retire to, couldn't I? Let's see. Mike says, I wonder what the age profile is of your viewers. Well, that's an interesting question because I think most of the people that watch my stuff are sort of aging. I don't think they're young. Not very many youngsters. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I think it might be something to do with the actual, if you think, you go to a village anywhere, the chances are, if it's in the countryside, which most of them are, you're going to be in an area that's full of mainly retired folk, aren't you? Because people like to retire to the countryside. So I'm thinking that could be a reason why, because that's sort of the people that be interested in seeing these places, the people actually live there. So that could be a reason why, I suppose. I know it's not always the case, because, I mean, we've seen places, haven't we, that's full of young people before. You know, if you take somewhere like Heslington in York, that's full of young people because obviously the university students. So, you know, it's not always the case, but I reckon I reckon it's mainly an aging sort of demographic that I've got watching me, to be fair. Something from sort of 40, 50, 60 upwards, maybe. Not very many younger than that. I don't think so. So we're all comparing ages now. Well, you see, we've got a nice spread here. Look, we've got a 45, a 30, a 31, 48, 52, 72. You see, there isn't, none of you are teenagers. You know, there's nothing sort of mid-20s, you know, late teens, mid-20s. Everyone in here is over 30.
I'm only 21.
Nikki's only 21. So, yeah, I think that's generally the case, isn't it?
Yes, it is generally the case. I'm only 21.
It is, yes. I mean, viewership.
Oh.
So,
you can get your viewers' age on demographics on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube does actually. Yeah, I might have a look at that. YouTube does show you the age of your viewers. Not quite sure how it works, how it actually finds this out. It's probably to do with the date of birth. Yeah. You have to put a date of birth in, don't you, when you register for a Google account? So it probably just like that. I'll have a look at that and see. Be interested to find out. Actually, I think, to be fair, it is more, shall we say, the wrong side of 50. The people that watch me, I think.
Except for me, because I'm only 21.
Except for you, because you're only 21. Catwoman Jones says, when you're older, you realise that these villages may totally change in the next few years. When you're younger, you don't care. You know what? That's actually right. Because even though I grew up in a village, I mean, I obviously had a bit of a affinity for it. But generally speaking, I had other things on my mind because, you know, at that sort of age, sort of late teens, early 20s, you're not thinking about that kind of thing. You're thinking more about, you know, the life ahead of you, you know, your career, your love life, shall we say. And a few other things, you know, there's other things to consider. But then as you get older, I think you're right. I think people do tend to think about it more, don't they? And appreciate where they live more too. I think that's just part of life, maybe. Anyway, what was the next thing I was going to? Oh, yes. The next thing I was going to tell you about. Earlier, I was looking at the East Lindsey map, as I often do when I've got nothing to do. I just sit and peruse it and see what's coming up. And I noticed that the places that I'm going to this week are frighteningly close to Tathwell. Have you all heard of Tathwell? If you haven't, then I'll tell you where it is. It's a village just to the south of Louth, and within its boundaries is Cadwell Park. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard of that place before. It's a racetrack, popular with motorbikes. Never actually been to it, so I don't know anything about it. But I was looking at it and thinking, wouldn't it be cool if when I get to that episode, whenever it may be, wouldn't it be great if I could somehow get a lap of the track, either in my car or in something that moves a bit quicker? Now, I put a post out earlier and I shared it in a few places, relevant places, and I got a few answers to it. Most people were saying go for a track day. Now, that's not ideal. That's not what I want, because you have to pay for them, and I don't know how much they are, but I imagine they're expensive.
The thing is, when you pay for them, if there's a private citizen and filming, then it comes in.
Yeah, that's the other problem. You don't know where the filming's possible. And of course, if you just want one lap of the track, it's not really worth paying for it anyway. So track days are not what I'm after. I do have, though, a few people that have come up with a few contact details. There's one who put me in the direction of a guy called Simon, I think his name is. Gave me an email address for him. Apparently, he works at the track itself. So I'm going to email him at some point. Haven't done yet because it only came in like an hour or so ago, and I've had other things to do. So I'm going to fire off an email to him at some point and basically see what he says. Now, if the answer is yeah, no problem, we can do this, which apparently, according to this woman who sort of gave me the contact details, it probably will be, then that would be a something new, wouldn't it? We've never actually seen that before. We've never actually been on a racetrack before. We've seen a couple of karting tracks before, and a motocross track or two. That one in Derbyshire, remember that one at the top of Allport Heights? But we've never actually been on a racetrack on the channel before, and it'd be quite cool. Like I said, I don't know whether I'd do it in my car or whether I'd opt to see what they've got otherwise that can shift a bit faster.
Safety car would shift a bit faster. Come on.
Hey, no, in my car, a push bike would move a bit faster, wouldn't it? Maybe I should ask Trevor Elston if he's got a racing bike I can take round it.
Trike, pedal car.
Yeah, possibly. Scooter, yeah. anything. Yeah, so it was an idle musing because obviously I was looking at the map and not really paying much attention to anything until I saw that. And it just popped into my head. You know, it's something fresh, something new we could potentially have a go at. And it'd be good because I'm sure people love seeing all the stuff that I cover on a general basis. You know, people like seeing historic buildings and earthworks and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it'd be good to have something a bit different demographic. You get a different demographic. Can't even say it. You would then get a different demographic of people watching the videos eventually. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if that can be a possibility. Now, I've got no plans to go there yet because I already know what area I'm doing next after the East Lindsey lot I'm doing this week. But there's no reason why that can't alter. So if I send this email off and the guy says, well, you know, are you free on such and such a day? And it's before the next lot, I can just slot it in. I can just do another batch. Wouldn't matter. So, yeah. I'm sure you all would love to see that. Love to see a racetrack on the channel. I mean, obviously, when you think of racetracks in this country, you think more about the likes of Brands Hatch and your Donington Parks and your Silverstones and whatever else. There's plenty I could think of. But the chances of me getting near any of them is a bit remote. I mean, there's no way on earth that I'd be able to get a lap of Silverstone in when I do that eventually. But a smaller track like Cadwell, I think that's definitely doable. So we'll see. We'll see. Has anybody out there ever been to Cadwell before? Because even though I lived really close to it, I've never actually been to it. So I don't even know what it's like, you know, what the circuit's like, whether it's an easy sort of drive around it or what. I mean, you're talking to a guy here that back in the day was quite a big F1 fan, and I still do follow it a little bit, not as much as I used to, because to be fair, it's gone boring now, hasn't it? So, you know, I had plenty of racing games in the past on various consoles, so, you know. But I've never actually sort of seen what Cadwell's like, whether it's an easy circuit or not. None of the games I ever had it on. I don't think it's well known enough. It's popular with motorbikes, not really for cars. Robin says, been to Cadwell a couple of times. Oh, marshalling rallies. Wow. Excellent. When I lived in Gringley on the Hill, I always knew something was happening at Cadwell Park because of the amount of bikers flying down the dual carriageway. That's absolutely right. When there is a bike meet on at Cadwell, you know about it because the air is just one great big motorbike noise. If you live anywhere close to it, it's absolutely right that, Alice. You're spot on. Let's see. Vince, go round on a push bike whilst wearing a mankini. Did we have to let this guy in tonight? Really? It all adds to the fun. 4-wheel drive wheelie bin. Well, even that would be better than my car. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Robin. If you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of my mantra with this. I mean, if I don't ask for it, then, you know, you just never know. And I would love to do it. I would love to do it. It's dubbed the British Nürburgring. Really? Wow. Which version of the Nürburgring? Are we talking the short version, or are we talking the Nordschleife? Because that is a long track. Oh dear. I think to be fair, if I tried to do a lap of the Nordschleife on this channel, you'd all fall asleep before I got to the end. What was it? Take something like 4 or 5 minutes to get round it? I've no idea. I can't remember. I think I've only ever seen 1 or 2 videos, and I didn't even watch it all. I'm used to the 14 miles. Is that it? Wow. It's a long way. Long way. I'll be honest with you, I would love to see a Grand Prix around the Nordschleife though. That'd be cool. I think it's too dangerous though, isn't it? They always go for the shortened version, which is not a bad circuit in itself, actually. So, right, I think we've just about got to the end of that. So, yeah, from here on in, people, if you've got anything to fire at me, we've got another 3.5, 4 minutes. We'll probably go on for a little bit longer. See what anybody else has got to say. Am I going to Tattershall anytime soon? Not anytime soon, Jamie, no. But obviously with Kirby on Bain, which came out today, that's literally the next village over. So I'm not too far away from it. It's going to be coming, you know, in the near future. But there's no plans for it just yet. What I'm going to do with East Lindsey, I'm going to sort of move around it quite a bit. It's, as you probably gather, it's a big place, a big area. Later on this year, I've got a run planned in sort of the southeastern corner towards Boston, because I do want to start Boston at some point this year. You know, get all them people involved, because currently nobody down there knows me. So I'm going to start that part of the district off as well, and sort of aim for areas that are around some of the biggest towns. So like the likes of we've already seen a couple around Horncastle. So a couple around Louth, a couple around Skegness, maybe a couple around Mablethorpe. Some of the Grimsby ones as well. There's a run planned up there too, to get some of them out of the way, because we're not quite done with Grimsby yet, you know. The district does go up that far. Hannah's come down to feed the cat. Hello, Hannah. So yeah, I'm going to try and get a few more near some of the big towns in East Lindsey. So I'm going to be moving around the district quite a bit. Let's see. Catwoman Jones, I've been round the Monte Carlo racetrack in a coach. Now then, we have actually been round it in a car. A couple of years ago, in 2019, we had a holiday in Nice. And we decided on one of the days to drive to Monaco. And the idea was, the reason we were going is so that I could drive around the circuit in the car, in the hire car. Now we had to go around. The idea was just to do 1 lap, but I ended up doing 2, because on the first lap I completely messed it up. When I got to Casino Square, I took the wrong turning, because they're all public roads. I took the wrong turning, so I thought, that's no good. I'm going to have to do that again. So I went around the rest of the lap, started again, and actually got it right on the second try. That's a circuit I know like the back of my hand. So
last week's bread still good?
No, probably not now, and I know. So yeah, I was quite an experience. That was. It was really warm that day as well. Let's see. Seen clips of it, but only on Top Gear when Jezza went round it. Cool. Dave says, did you see my comment about how I found you? No, I didn't, Dave. Let me just scroll back up. I'll find it. How did you find me, Dave? I discovered you after watching Escape to the Country. I was homesick channel surfing and watched the show, then went on YouTube to find out more about the English villages and found me. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. Anybody out there watch Escape to the Country? See, always on it's always on when I'm at my parents' house. They always like to watch it. It's actually quite cool though, because with that on in the background while I'm doing whatever I'm doing on my computer, it's kind of, I kind of get an idea of sort of the areas I'm going to that I've not actually been to yet. Last time I was down there was this couple who had bought a house in Durham, somewhere close to Durham, in County Durham. I found myself sort of half doing what I was doing on my laptop and half watching the telly, because I was thinking to myself, well, I've not been there yet, so let's have a little gander, let's have a little nosy. So it's quite nice. Nicky's stepdad the other day was watching it himself, actually, because he was on about parts of South Yorkshire being on it.
Which they actually weren't.
Well, no, not really. No, it was. Yeah, he was complaining about it because it wasn't actually.
North Yorkshire, Derbyshire, and Nottingham.
Yeah, it wasn't really South Yorkshire, was it? So yeah.
Typical Brit, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is typical Brit, is our Dennis.
Moans and kills.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get him actually in the Bridlington episode somehow, because he's a Bridlington native, is Nicky's stepdad Dennis, and it'd be cool to actually have some input from a guy who knows the town better than.
You should do a little interview with him.
Yeah, might do. Yeah, I mean, Dennis will talk to anybody, and I'm sure he'll talk for hours about Bridlington. So yeah, I'll probably put that in at some point, or an edited version of it. So yeah. Jamie says, in Skipsea, did you go past a caravan park called Samara? Skipsea, that's going back a while. If I did, I can't remember it. Just trying to remember my route around. I didn't go to any caravan parks on the walk. I know that for a fact. I probably drove past it at some point. Is it right on the coast? Because I'm thinking it's probably, if it's not on the coast, it's going to be to the north of Skipsea, towards Ulverum. And I didn't go up there. I figured that you'd all seen the caravan parks in the episode before that, which was Attic. If you remember, we drove on to the Skillington market in that episode, and that was all caravans. So not much point covering 2 loads of caravan parks close together. I definitely don't remember it anyway. Long time ago was that episode. It's funny, really, because what you're seeing in the East Riding now is sort of coming down the coast towards that area now, isn't it? You've just seen Barmston. It's Ulverum next week, and that's right next to Skipsea. Near Barmston, right? Okay, so that's more Ulverum then than Skipsea. So it's probably, I probably didn't see it, but I didn't go to any caravan parks in Ulverum, because that one that you're going to see later this week is more about the airfield, Lisset Airfield. Village itself very tiny, not much in it, but the main part of that episode is all Lisset. So yeah, I didn't see Samara, wherever it may be. Okay, I think we're about there, people. So unless anyone's got any burning questions they want to throw at me in the next couple of minutes, then we'll call it here. It's been quite an interesting chat this week. We've gone from caravan parks and seasides to racetracks and everything in between, haven't we? It's quite cool. Speaking of which, speaking of the seaside, I've just planned the route for Hornsea, which is going to be coming up very soon. So I'm going to be seeing the sea again very soon. Flamborough, that's coming soon as well, Jamie. It's coming soon as well. Don't know when, but it's coming soon. Not many left in the East Riding, and Flamborough is one of them. So that'd be quite cool. Been there before, actually. It's a long time ago. I went on a school trip very, very, very many moons ago. So we often, one thing Dennis often says to Hannah is it'd be cool to put her on Flamborough Head and use her as a foghorn because of her loud voice. Definitely scare the ships away, wouldn't it? Okay, right. Let's cut it there, people. Thanks very much for joining me this week. And if you're a member, I'll see you again next week. Oh, one final thing. Catwoman Jones says, how's Nikki's diet going?
5 stone 3 gone.
5 stone 3 gone. There you go. 5 stone 3 gone. Well done, Nikki. And more to come off yet. Trust me. Bit of walking around Hornsea, Nikki. That way you'll drop a few more, won't you? Cheers. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'll see you next week. Brilliant to see you all. And yeah, have a good one. See you next week if you remember. Bye-bye.
Anybody see the small white fish?